Previously on Party in Peril. You walk through the doorway and immediately you are facing the opposite direction back outside. And now there are two other statues, one on the left, one on the right, but just a pedestal in the middle that says, "Take up your place."
All right, I guess I step on there, see what happens.
And from behind a large stack of books on a center desk steps Avadore's master.
Theo was the first demon. She reached out into the universe and pulled new magic into this world, creating something called the Celestials. Energy that ripped through also created three new beings born from the remains of Theo. Balaam, the first lycanthrope, the first vampire. There was a third race.
That's me.
Elves and dwarves worked together to create an artifact that temporarily put the Celestials into hibernation. The artifact was then dismantled and scattered across the world once the Celestials were at rest. And your coin would be a part of that artifact. And the key is what would unlock the power of these Celestials.
All travels in finding these artifacts. We are being followed.
They know that you have it.
What do you know of Theo? Does she still exist?
His age is just really showing now because he's just like,
I was hoping we would never really have to talk about this, but I knew one day you would ask. The tieflings were mostly exterminated after they were first conceived in this world. The reason being is because they look just like Theo. I mean, they grew specifically from the remains of her body, her head. The descriptions of her, Avadore, she looks just like you.
Is she my mother?
Anything is possible. Unfortunately, there's not a lot to know about the tieflings. The only ones surviving fled somewhere and have never been seen since until I found you.
Why did you save me? Why did you keep me?
Regardless of how you were created or where you're from, you were just a child. You were innocent. So I took you in as my own to raise you, to see what things that you could provide to this world. And I'm very proud of the person that you've become. You aren't evil incarnate as some in legend would lead us to believe tieflings could be, being descended from the first demon. The tieflings have passed into such obscurity that they're mainly just thought of legend and myth, and some probably have never even heard of them before. So if you wander into a tavern, they might just think that you're some sort of just strange, mutated creature of this world, rather than a race in and of itself.
She had the power to pull magic from the universe. Is this something that all tieflings are able to do, or what made her so skilled?
That I don't know. And there are none surviving to be able to answer, aside from maybe one. Avadore, your magics, they never really manifested the way that I expected. I teach arcane magic, which I'm unfortunate to say you never quite excelled greatly in. However, you were intelligent and you were able to interact with nature. And I know of someone that has a connection to the same type of magic and may be able to answer some of these questions. Now, I didn't know exactly for sure that he was who he said he was, but if these myths and legends are true, then maybe he was telling me the truth. But I will need some time to find him. It might take a few hours, but I will contact him and bring him here, and he might be able to answer more questions for you.
I appreciate that. I honestly do.
So he kind of nods So retroactively, we didn't address what was going on with Shepard as far as if anyone was carrying him, but I'm just going to say that Sarah and Grunwald had been carrying him, but Grunwald went up to his rooms and things like that. So I'm going to say that Shepard's just kind of lying there on the floor. He's still naked. Nobody has bothered to put any clothes on this guy. It's ridiculous. Sarah's going to look down and kind of say, with your magic, is there anything that you could do to at least make him easier to carry? He kind of looks over, and one of his room bots, as we dubbed them,
I love that,
is kind of nearby, like polishing a table, and he nods to the room bot, who comes over and he lifts Shepard up in the air, and then as he's holding him in place, Kavella starts doing a little bit of a spell and kind of unfurls this piece of cloth from his hand, which kind of grows and grows and grows till it's almost like the size of like a blanket that's about the size of Shepard's body, and it floats kind of underneath him. And then the room bot lets go, and Shepard plops down on this blanket, which is still floating in the air, and that blanket kind of floats him over behind Sarah. All right, there you go. Now you won't have to carry him at all. He will just follow you around. Sure enough, Sarah takes a few steps, kind of as if like she's testing it, to the left, and then the blanket with Shepard on it kind of starts floating towards her, just almost like keeping pace too. So problem solved as far as that goes. Now you don't have to carry his naked butt everywhere.
I'll just go up to the room. I don't really have too much to do here. I mean, I'm not looking to steal anything or anything like that. Okay. I think at most I would just practice my clownery in different ways, just like maybe more juggling. I don't have a lot invested into the whole world of magic, nor do I really understand it. So I'm kind of just along for the ride on this one.
You guys start climbing the stairs up towards that hallway that he kind of indicated earlier. And you end up in a hallway just full of all these different doors and stuff like that. And you can see that everyone that you have been traveling with, as well as you, all have names carved on these doors. So you can see there's one that says Roger Stein. There's one that says Piper Tealeaf, Elros, Krog, Grunwald, Jewel, Sarah, even Shepard's name is carved on one door, and you see one that says Jek and one that says Avadore. So you guys can go in your own rooms. You can visit someone from their rooms, just see what's going on, whatever you want to do.
It's been a while since we've had our own rooms. It'll be nice to decompress and relax.
So do you guys want to retreat to your individual rooms?
Yeah, I think I'd also would like to grab whatever books I need in order to freshen up, especially the ones that Jewel was pointing out, like, I read that one and I read this one. That was the books that the master was...
That he had? Okay, sure.
Uh-huh.
So you take those with you and you can head to your room. Here's the thing about yours. So you used to live here. So this room that you walk into is exactly the way you remember it. I mean, down to every detail. So why don't you tell us, what does your room look like once you walk in there?
I walk in and there's a giant New Kids on the Block poster and
new orcs on the block.
New orcs on the block.
I love it.
It's very teenage-like. A mix of plants that have died and have not been fed. And as I walk by, I use my magic to revive them up again. So the life starts coming back again as I walk through. There are tons and tons of journals and diaries and sketches of my studies, things that are very nostalgia.
You've got a lot of like black candles, crosses, and skulls from when you went through your goth phase.
It's not a phase. But they thought it still feels like a very teenage room. You can see the transformation of old stuffed animals who haven't been touched. Like nothing's been touched. Everything's been kept just the way as I left it. And yet it feels so familiar. The smell feels familiar, and
does it feel smaller than you remember?
It does. It feels smaller. I feel like I've grown. I feel that what I thought was a cage before, because it was my cell in a way that I could only learn so much. But now it feels like I'm in my roots. So it doesn't feel like a cage anymore. It actually feels like home. It's like something that I didn't know I would have missed until walking in.
Well, it felt like a cage before, kind of feels like shelter now.
Yeah, it feels like a sanctuary.
You're like an Amish that just returned from Rumspringer.
Can I do a perception check in my room just to kind of see if anything stands out to me?
You won't need to do a perception check. These rooms are all magical. So they have been just equipped to be the exact room that you would want or need. So when you walk in the door, Jek, this is exactly what you would hope to have. So you tell us, what does your room look like?
There are juggling balls everywhere, and
You go in this room and you can have anything. You walk in, it's just balls. What's with you and balls?
It's a giant ball pit.
Yeah.
No,
Oh my
gosh. I don't know. It's pretty plain. I'm not used to anything super extravagant. There's some ornate decoration that looks very expensive, to where in my old life I would have been like, oh, I need to like take this. But now I'm trying to like, if anything, it's me practicing my patience and my willpower to not steal everything in this room, because it looks like I could strip it and sell it for a ton. And this is just me speaking from my prior, I guess, bandit / thief life. And so I'm trying to be good. No one has wronged me. So it's sort of like temptation all around me, which I guess would be, since that's kind of the first thing that crosses my mind as a little thief. Not a lot aside from that. Maybe some thievery books or something. I don't know. Some sort of scrolls that I can maybe learn from.
So you're kind of like looking at maybe some literature that like former thieves and stuff like that, like famous ones would have written, kind of about like their exploits and those that they've tricked in their past and swindled.
Thievery for dummies. Yeah, stuff
Thievery
like that.
for Dummies, Thieves Throughout History is one of the volumes you grabbed and you're looking through and stuff.
Can I go into his room with a book in hand that I'd like to share with him?
Sure thing. Yeah.
Okay.
Does everyone else see what, if someone else were to go to like my room, for example, would she still see exactly what I'm seeing, or is it in her own image? Okay.
Because those rooms are specifically suited to the person that's going to be residing in them.
Okay.
So like, if one of you guys went into someone else's room, you would see what that room is for that person. Otherwise, things would get real crazy.
So instead of walking in, because these rooms are magical, I'm able to just kind of open up a little portal from one wall to the other.
Oh,
sure, we can do that.
That's gonna freak me out. Okay.
So, we'll have a here, actually roll me a straight D20 for something. I want to try something here.
6.
6. Okay, so like a hole suddenly just kind of opens up. Like, Jek, you hear like a like almost like a crumbling sort of noise. But what it is you just see this hole start opening up in the side of one wall. But it doesn't get very big, just enough for Avadore to poke her head through.
I crouch behind my bed real quick just to. I'm peeking over it just to see what's happening.
Hi.
Oh my God! Why? Why did you do that?
I'm so sorry. I apologize.
We have
I should
doors.
But what fun is a magic house if you do not try your spells on the walls?
What is your idea of fun, Avadore? You just like turtle head, like poked your head through my wall. Oh, I'm just even out of character. That's kind of terrifying to me. The idea of it.
My apologies. I did not mean to startle you. I've never had people come visit me in my home, and I'm actually quite excited. This feels like a sleepover, and it's something I've always wanted as a child, and now I have my friends here with me, and excuse me, I'm just quite excited.
Could you please just come in the door before you keep talking to me?
Okay. I'll do that. My apologies.
Okay.
The hole closes back up in the wall. You hear the same kind of crumbling sort of noises as the brick and everything starts sealing itself back up. And then the door to your room opens and Avadore walks through.
I enjoy what you've done to your room. This is quite you. And
Just full of balls.
you even have a ball pin. Of course you do. Of course. Is that your bed?
So what if it is?
No judgment at all. My room is quite whom I used to be in my past, and I actually quite enjoy it myself. But while I was there shuffling through and in my journals, I remembered a certain book that I think you would enjoy. It's called Illusions, and it was during a time in which I didn't understand my magic, and it's for humans, actually. It's not magic per se, but I think you'd quite enjoy it for yourself.
I'll check it out.
Magic usually comes from those who are born with it and those who possess it. But you are human, and that is a gift in itself. But I believe that you have the capability to use your skills as a street performer instead of a street rat.
But I'm still on the street either way. Okay.
But you can still use this to your advantage and all people and their minds and give them an idea that you yourself possess magic even when you don't. So
wait. So is this basically like deception?
Yes.
I'm just trying to understand game mechanic wise, like what this is that you're talking about, because I get what you're saying.
Let this keep playing out, and then we'll see where it goes. And I might come up with something based off of what happens. But you guys just keep doing what you're doing.
So what you're saying is like I'm not doing magic, but I could look like I'm using magic.
Exactly. You can use it to defend yourself. You can use it to hide yourself. Honestly, there's many things in here that I've used in my past in order to not actually use a true magic spell and be able to hide from an enemy or be able to hide anything. And this might help you with our coin and the key. You've done a great service of keeping it close to you that no one's been able to catch you. And maybe you'll be able to possess something in order to swap. Like, watch this. And I use the key as an example and put it in one hand and then make it look as if it disappeared. And then it comes up again in another place.
You pull it out from behind my ear.
Yeah, basically. It is like, do you see what I mean?
Was that in my ear the whole time?
The whole time. And these are just small illusions. They're not tricks and they're not magic, but it's an illusion.
I see. So you're hiding things inside of people's body parts. I understand.
Jack, I really have great hopes
I've got
for
it.
you.
I've got it. What is this book called, by the way? The Illusionist or something?
She said it originally, I think. What name did you give it?
I didn't think I said anything.
I thought you said something about illusions, I thought.
No, I mean, I said that it is a book of illusions.
Oh, okay. Maybe that can be the name of it. It's the Book of Illusions. It's very straightforward.
I like that.
And it teaches you other things in order to use pen and paper and quill so that when you write, it erases.
A tabletop game, okay.
Things that you write down can erase, and what you truly wrote down will appear with a certain ink.
So you're giving me magic ink. You're teaching me to hide things behind.
Then it's not magic, Jack.
No, not actual magic. That's what I'm talking about. Like disappearing ink. That's what it's called.
Yes.
Yeah, let's do it's just picture right now that Shadai's character Avadore is basically channeling Job from Arrested Development.
Yes, from Arrested
Development. He's like, they're illusions.
They're illusions.
I'm captivated. I'm interested in what she's saying, but I'm also very confused. I do need to read this book because maybe then I will understand that she didn't actually hide this in my ear.
So let's say that you start kind of looking through this book, and what it is basically parlor tricks in a way.
Mm-hmm.
Of kind of like she did with like the coin and stuff like that, of directing other people's focus while you're doing something else, manipulating with your hands. So using your sleight of hand skill and things like that. But it's kind of describing things that maybe Jack hasn't thought of before, like redirecting someone's attention while he's doing something so that maybe you're looking someone in the eye, talking to them, but you're also picking their pocket like literally as you're having a conversation with them, or you are swapping things of weight in and out, like somebody has a wallet in their pocket, but you have placed a pebble in it of equal weight as you're swapping it in and out, things that would keep you from maybe give you a little bit more advantage while you're doing things like trying to steal. We'll say it's like something that's trying to like open your eyes to using your deception and sleight of hand and things like that, maybe in ways that you haven't done before.
I like that. Wow, this is awesome. Thank you so much, Avadore. I'm just flipping through this book. I'm completely amused. I'm sitting in my ball pit bed, just kind of kicking around.
It tells you how to do that thing where, like, let's see, they wouldn't have pencils in this world, where if you like grab a quill and you wave it up and down between your fingers, it looks like it's rubber because it's moving so differently.
Yeah, that's the first thing I learned. That's the first page.
You're like, whoa!
I was like, hey, look at this. Does this look like rubber? Look at it.
Right. It will also teach you how to remove your finger and reattach as well.
Or you can get somebody's nose.
Yeah.
using your thumb. Oh, I got your nose.
She walks away with my nose. Give it back.
It also talks a little bit about thieves' cant, which is something that you have being a thief, but I don't think that you've ever had to use. But it's basically like a language in a way that thieves communicate and stuff like that to let other thieves kind of know certain things. So I'm going to let you decide what that means. If it's something spoken, if it is something written, if it's done with motions or taps or something like that against a person or a body, like a sound or a feeling. I'll let you decide what that's like. There's only one other person with your group right now that would know what thieves' cant is, and that would be Piper.
I feel like it would be more of like a gestural sort of speak.
Okay. So let's say that this book is kind of like you've known about it, but maybe it's something that you were just really unfamiliar with, but this book contains it. So like if you were to try something and you can kind of think in your head, like, well, if I try this in front of Piper, knowing that she is kind of like me and the sort of things that she does, because she was a thief that just, happens to work on the ship with Stein and stuff, that she would probably know what it is. So it might be a way for you two to communicate, but it would just be basically between you and her.
Okay. So it's basically like I'm kind of describing a football play to her, or I'm a catcher telling a pitcher what to do.
Yes, basically like that.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I'm fascinated. I'm just diving into the book. I've stopped talking to Avadore altogether. I'm ignoring her now.
You're like, I will never talk to her again. I'm just going to read this book for the rest of my life. Yeah, you're all hanging out. You're having like a little study buddy session in Jack's room for a while. And then eventually you're going to hear a little.
And we both look up, and who do we see?
Oh, Indigo's hanging out up there. Yo, dinner's ready if you guys are hungry. You find any worms or anything like that? You got any bird seed? I'm not even like a real bird. I'm made of magic, obviously, but like I still get hungry and shit. So if you found anything, like I'll take it. I mean, I did get books and shit for you guys.
I don't know if I have any worms around, but I'll keep you in mind if I find any.
I was just starting to like you.
I believe I do have an apple, and there may be some vermin inside it that's growing. If you'd like the fungus, it is
fungus. I'm a fucking bird. I don't eat fungus. I eat worms and shit.
It's good for you. It actually attracts worms. Would you enjoy that?
How old an apple we talking here?
Oh, we've been at sea for 3 days, and it was already old. So I'm pretty sure there's some maggots that are
a few years
that have been hatched inside.
All right, I'm down with that. Cool. Where do I find this at? Where you got it?
It's in my pocket. Here you go.
All
right, are you carrying a rotten apple in your pocket?
Because I could heal it should I want to eat it.
He swoops down and picks it up in his feet, and like his feet kind of mush into it a little bit. He's like, perfect. All right, yeah, there's bound to be something in there. Thanks, man.
There's bound to be something in there.
He just starts like shoving his beak way into it, and you see him pull out a little grub, and he's like,
I'm a little grossed out by this. I'm just like, ugh. I hold the book up to where I can't see him anymore, and I'm just looking at the book.
You can hear some shuffling and stuff in the hallway as some of the others are coming out of their rooms to head over to dinner. And he's like, "Oh yeah, you guys, you were the last ones to know. Everybody else is already heading to dinner, so like if you don't want to miss out, you might want to get yourselves moving."
Shall we retire to the grub hub?
All right, I'm with you.
You're heading towards the same stairs that you previously walked up to get to the rooms, but instead of those stairs leading into the library again, now they're actually heading into a massive dining room of just beautiful stone walls, decorated in all these various tapestries, lit by thousands of floating light orbs just hovering about like 20 feet up in the air, kind of above a large table with just about a dozen chairs. And the table itself is covered in more food than either of you have ever seen in your lives. There's roasted pork and pheasant. There's various breads, cheeses, fruits, some of which you've never even seen before. There's goblets of wine and water at each space to dine. And the chairs themselves actually pull themselves out for you as you approach. And when any of you sit down, the chair pushes itself back in so that you're closer to the table.
I'm already at the cheese plates.
Same.
Stein and Sarah are both kind of eaten sort of conservatively, with showing their politeness and stuff like that. Like they're carefully like kind of cutting and chewing each bite of meat and vegetable and stuff. They're not drinking any alcohol or anything. Those two are just drinking water and stuff. Piper is just piling everything on her plate as much as she can, just making like a mountain of food. And she, even as she eats, she's grabbing more food and putting it on her plate. So it's just almost like a never-ending cycle of more and more food piling up. And the more you guys eat, like it just doesn't look like the supply is dwindling down at all. It's just like the food is just permanently there, regardless of how much of it you take. Elros is mainly just eating fruits, bread, cheese, and he's kind of trying not to smile, but he is a little bit as he's watching Piper just frantically like gorge herself on all of her food. Grunwald's over there just like salivating over like this giant hunk of meat that takes up his entire plate. He's got no bread, no cheese, no fruit. It's just meat that he's just super excited about. Krog's got several bones already completely picked clean. And instead of wine, he's got like this giant tankard of beer that he's just guzzling down, just beer after beer. Jewel's not eating. She's just kind of going around the table, like examining each thing of food really closely and kind of muttering some things. She's like trying to recall the names of each dish and stuff that's there and watching how the others like eat them and stuff, and kind of, you can tell like mentally taking some notes and things like that.
I see a table, and on that table, laying out naked, is Shepherd. And
he's over there.
I call out
He's naked.
for Indigo, and I said, Indigo, why is Shepherd still in the nude? And is this naked sushi? What do we have on this table?
We're going to do body shots off of Shepherd now?
I mean, hey, you guys brought him here like this. Like, he ain't my thing. Like, I ain't has to take care of him. But, like, if you want some sushi, like, I can whip that up on him if that's what he's here for. I don't know. I'm just a magic bird. I don't know your customs and shit.
And shit.
He kind of looks over at Master Kavella, who's sitting there kind of munching on, like, a little small plate of, like, bread and grapes. And he occasionally, like, flicks a finger and refills, like, some wine for himself and some of the others, and keeps summoning more tankards of beer for Krog. He's got like a little subtle smile on his face, and no, you don't need to summon any sushi on the naked drow over there, but here. And he kind of, Kavella just kind of flicks his finger towards, like almost snapping towards Shepherd, and now he's got like some very loose fitting robes and stuff on, just some gray robes covering his chest and his junk and all that.
Parts.
Hey, everybody. Just want to chime in, say thank you for listening to this episode of Party in Peril. I hope you guys are enjoying it. And I know the next episode is going to be very, very, very exciting as well. And you're going to learn a whole bunch of cool things about Avadore there. I mean, we've been learning a lot about her recently, but you'll learn a little bit more. Yeah, that'll be fun. As I said on the last episode, we are preparing for this campaign to start winding down, and then we will be starting another one shortly after a little break in between the two. That's going to be really exciting. I'm super, super happy because it's going to be very different than this one, and we're not going to be kind of held down by lots of weird changes to the podcast right in the middle of the campaign. At least, hopefully. Hope everybody's staying safe and happy out there and has plenty of toilet paper. Right now, we are recording this right as COVID-19 is really just starting to hit the United States quite a bit. So everybody outside of the United States, you know, our wishes are with you guys. We hope that you guys are doing okay. I know it's kind of a scary time, so I really hope that what we do here can at least bring you a little bit of entertainment and joy in a time where things are maybe not feeling so great. Big thank you to Thomas Couch, who left us a 5-star review with comment on Apple Podcasts. It's from the Almost Human podcast, which is cool. Go check his podcast out. And he says, I really enjoy the content. Love some tabletop bullshit. So awesome. I love it too, buddy, which is why we're doing it. So thank you so much for leaving that. And anyone else out there, if you want to give us a hand and support the show, something that you can do for free is just leave us a rating and review on Apple Podcasts. You can also support us financially if you like by supporting Nerd Sloth on Patreon. All that money goes to support all of our shows, which are run by Joseph and myself. All of the various shows we do are paid for out of pocket or from donations from the listeners, and we don't make any money off of doing it, which we have been doing for several years now. 5 years? 6 years? Oh my gosh. That's a long time to not be making money off of things. But we love what we do. So if you want to throw us some support that way, you can definitely do that. It'll help us keep creating awesome shows coming your way with the possibility of being able to eventually do some new ones in the future, which we would love to bring a few old ones back and do some new ventures for sure. We've got several planned and waiting for that sweet spot to hit so that we can do it. And as always, thank you to our current Patreon supporters. We love you all for your support. Be sure to check out the current episodes of our other podcasts like Saturday Morning Cartoon Boom, Anxiously Ever After, Know the Lore, Overwatch, and our YouTube channels Rerolling and Spartacus Gaming. Lots of fun new stuff everywhere. Make sure you go and check those out. But for now, let's get back to the story.
So is Shepard still just passed out?
Mm-hmm. He's just there. He's just floating on his blanket, sitting on this table actually right now. So.
Does the smell of mead not wake him up?
You see Krog slam down another beer and it hits the table. You slightly see like one of Shepard's ears twitches, but no, nothing else happens. What does this look like for you guys?
I'm a bread and cheese guy, so I'm going to be like stacking. My challenge to myself is see how high of a tower I can get of bread, cheese, bread, cheese, bread, cheese. See how tall I can get it. And then I have to eat all of it.
You can kind of see like Piper is kind of giving you a nod of respect as you're like stacking food like as high as she is and even surpassing it.
My plate looks like something from medieval times. So there's probably a big turkey leg and a whole bunch of like, not cornbread, but what else do they give? They give like a huge turkey leg and just
like soups and turkey and bread and.
Yeah.
Oh, from actual medieval times. The place. I thought you were like from medieval times.
No.
Like
there's like a dinner show going on.
Right.
These guys are using lances to unseat each other.
Maybe using the magic, it'll be like a hologram of something in the center that everybody gets to watch. So it's not real jousting, but it's holographic.
We just get you cast a little spell to put a little knight helmet on Indigo and make him like duel a clone of himself.
He's like, oh, come on, guys. Like, this ain't fun. I just ate my grubs. Like,
Everybody's
can't you let it settle
color-coded,
for a minute?
We cheer for the blue knight or the red knight and the yellow knight.
Like beating our sterns down on the table,
Yeah.
cheering, yeah.
You think I'd be the color indigo if that's my name, but like, I don't know. I guess Kavella's got some irony to him or something.
It's more of a blue.
Yeah, he's like, I'm a bluebird. Calling me indigo. It doesn't make any sense. But yeah, you guys, you're just eating up. Like some of the people are kind of talking a little bit. You can overhear some of the chatter. Like Piper and Elros are just kind of. Piper's very gossipy. Like she's kind of a goofball and stuff, and she's making jokes at other people's expenses. Elros is just kind of listening and trying not to laugh and smile because he just tries to keep composure all the time.
I'm walking around trying out some of these parlor tricks that I've just learned.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, like pulling stuff out from behind people's ears, shaking the quills around.
Shaking the quills.
Yeah, look at all these rubber quills I have.
And Grunwald's like, whoa, and gives a thumbs up.
Taking all the noses. Like I've got a collection of noses now.
You're gonna start a fight, a little brawl.
Grunwald's like touching his face just to be sure. Like he knows that like you couldn't have actually taken his nose, but like just in case he's touching his face.
Yeah, like he does a little, like after I walk away, he's like sniffs a little bit. He's like, all right, wipes it.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Still there. Yeah. Good. You can see like Stein and Krog are talking quite a bit about like, like sailing and the kind of stuff that they used to do. You hear Krog talking about his old clan a little bit. Jules still kind of doing her thing, looking around the room, looking at like everything and kind of watching some of the conversations. And she just looks so genuinely interested in what everybody says, but she's having trouble keeping up with all of the different conversations going on. But you can tell she's trying really hard to keep looking at all the food, but also listen to each conversation. And it's not working a little bit. She's getting, for the first time, slightly frustrated from what you can tell.
I'm going to sit next to my master and just sort of enjoy my time with him since it's been so long.
Sure. He pats your hand a little bit as you sit down next to him, and he kind of smiles and starts plopping some grapes into his mouth and chewing a little bit. Got a little bit of dribble going down his cheek that he's trying to wipe away.
Going into his long beard.
Yeah, the juice is getting in his beard and stuff, and he's trying to, keep composure and look very studious, but he's pretty hungry, so he's chowing down on them grapes for sure. As everyone's kind of starting to finish up dinner and getting their fill and everything like that, he kind of looks towards you and nods at Jek, and he says to you, Avadore, he's like, I would like to talk to the two of you after dinner if you two could stick around, if you don't mind.
This is your home, and we are grateful to be in your company. So yes, we would gladly see you right after dinner.
Sounds good. Great. So people are starting to kind of finish up and everything. The others start kind of heading back to their rooms once they're all full. And you see Krog is definitely stumbling around quite a bit. Like he had a lot to drink. So did Grunwald. They're kind of like holding each other up a little bit as they walk up the stairs. These two giant looking dudes, this big human and this big orc, keeping each other steady. Sarah starts walking up the stairs and she Shepard's little blankets kind of floating along beside her. She kind of looks back at you two, like maybe a slight worry on her face, but she just kind of smiles and nods, and then she goes up to her room. So Kavella, as the room bots are starting to clean things up and some of the food starts disappearing and things like that, and they're taking the dishes away, he looks at you and he says, I sense a great destiny in the two of you and your companions, but I fear that their journey will eventually lead them down a different path. He looks a little sad for a moment, but he maintains like a slight smile with those words. He says, I must do the minimum I can to help you, but I can't lend you my full support, as there must be a balance. Your destinies are your own. But I do have gifts to aid both of you on your journeys, but you're going to have to earn them. Now, normally, I would have you face your trials separately, but since I can sense that you two are connected by your destinies, I would not be the one to break that connection. So through your trials,
They will require your own individual actions, but the other will be able to remain present and provide wisdom. These gifts will greatly aid you. Do you accept the trials to earn them?
I accept.
I accept.
Good. Now, ask me what I see when I look at the two of you.
Master, what do you see when you look at both of us?
I see scuff marks and scratches and tears in your armor and clothing. I see scars on your skin. I can see calluses from gripping your weapons tightly. Now, what conclusion should I draw from that bit of information?
We survived a battle.
We've been busy.
He laughs a little bit. He says, both are very correct. It tells me you're experienced in battle, which is good. But relying solely on the skills in battle will not keep you alive much longer with the types of things that are hunting you. So, as you enter these trials, use your heads and your hearts. Do you understand?
Yes.
Always.
You both suddenly find yourselves in a small, dusty-looking attic, and you are completely weaponless, both of you. Avadore, you are present in the corner of the room, but you find yourself completely unable to move. The attic is all wood and stone. There's some tables and chairs kind of lying around. There's an old painting that's kind of propped haphazardly on the ground against a chair. There's a fireplace, but there's nothing but soot in it right now. On the mantle of the fireplace is a small sculpture. And then on the wall across from that fireplace is an old mirror with a thin layer of dust on it, and a thin layer of dust also covering the floor. Again, as Kavella kind of shared, Avadore, because this is Jek's trial, you'll be unable to move, but you can still speak with him and try to help, with any wisdom that you might think of or any ideas. Jek, you are able to freely move around the room. Like I said, you have no weapons, you have no items on you. It's basically just you and your clothes in this attic.
Okay. Perception check or intuition? Perception, I guess. See what I...
Sure, roll a perception check.
Oh, nat 20.
Nat 20.
So perceptive.
Okay, let's see. I'll give you a couple of things here. So the statue that's above the fireplace is the bust of a human hunter with a bowstring. In his right hand has a slot to be gripping an arrow as if it's notched, but there's no arrow in his hand. The mirror that is on the opposite wall of the fireplace in that statue, in the mirror, you can see that the statue is complete. It has the arrow. And the painting that is kind of haphazardly on the ground, this painting looks like a just some random elven woman or something like that. She's really pretty, and her eyes are pointed towards the fireplace. And I'll give you this much too, because it was a 20. Some of the soot around the fireplace looks like it's recently been disturbed.
Let me pick up the painting. Let me see if I
Okay,
can
you
pick it up.
Painting up.
Okay. Is there room above the fireplace to where, or is there anything like near the fireplace to where it might hang? Like, is there like a nail or anything?
There is a nail above the fireplace that would set it above like that statue that you were looking at.
Okay, let me do that first and see if anything happens.
You set the painting on the wall, and you kind of take a step back, and you now notice that she's looking down.
Is she looking down at the statue?
It's kind of hard to tell because the statue is on a mantle above the fireplace. So she's looking down. It could be at the statue. It could be at the fireplace.
Is the fireplace lit? I forgot if you said.
No, it is not lit. It's just kind of soot. And as I said, the soot looks like it's been disturbed recently.
Is there like a little poker near the fireplace or whatever?
Yes.
Can I grab that and kind of dust the soot around, see if I can notice anything in there? Okay, I'll do that.
Okay, yeah. So kind of disturbing the soot and some of the coals and stuff that you're brushing around, you can kind of see some of the soot fall through like a little crack or something in the foundation of the fireplace. And that crack seems to kind of continue along the edge of the right side of that fireplace.
Can I follow that crack to see? So where does it end in the fireplace, or does it travel anywhere further?
From what you see right now, you only see that it's kind of just running the length of the inside of the fireplace. Doesn't look like it goes beyond that or anything.
Okay. Can I kind of feel around in there and see if there's any kind of switch I can find or something?
Sure. Yeah, so are you trying to put like your hand on the crack or?
Yeah, just anywhere that feels like it might be depressed a little bit to where I can like either push something in or pull something, any kind of switch or handle.
As you stick your hand in, so the crack is big enough for you to slip your fingers through. You don't feel anything that you could, like you don't feel any switches or hidden anything, but you do find that like where you're sticking your hand down, this particular stone is super loose.
Okay, like loose enough for me to, I'll pull on it to see if I can either pull it out or push it in.
Sure. So you can pull the stone away, and where the stone was, you can see a hardened clay arrow.
Pick up that arrow and put it into the statue's notch up there.
Okay. So you put the arrow into the hunter's hand on that bow to complete the statue. I mean, so the statue's complete, but nothing seems to happen. What do you want to do now?
Can I look in the mirror and see if am I seeing the painting in the mirror now as well, since the mirror is like showing the fireplace?
So now you are looking in the mirror, and you see yourself. You see the statue; it is complete still. You see in the mirror that there's a fire now going in the fireplace, and looking at the painting, the woman in the painting is gone. Do a perception check for me.
23.
23. Okay. You can hear a woman's laughter kind of echoing throughout the attic that you're in right now. You can hear footsteps racing across the room coming straight at you.
I'll turn and see if I can look towards the footsteps.
You see nothing.
Ooh, creepy. Okay. Man, I was doing so good. Now I feel a little lost. Avadore, did you see anything running at me? Did you hear that?
I did not. Did you feel any wind coming your way when the footsteps were coming towards you?
Did I?
As you're kind of asking this, like something slams into you really hard and you kind of hit the ground a little bit. And then you can hear the footsteps keep moving across the attic. And then you kind of hear it turn like it might start coming back at you again.
Can I look in the mirror and see if I'm able to see what's approaching or what's attacking me?
You look in the mirror. You're not seeing anything just yet. But then as you hear those footsteps getting closer, you see the elven woman's reflection in that mirror just kind of slam her shoulder into you again as you had just stood up. And then she disappears off again, running that opposite direction.
Can I move this mirror at all?
You could definitely try to lift it off the wall if you'd like to do that.
Is it the only mirror in the room?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, let me try to lift it.
Okay, you lift the mirror up.
Okay. Let me hold it towards where I hear the woman charging and I don't know, see if she'll charge into it or something.
You can hear the footsteps running and they come to a stop. Actually, roll another perception check for me real quick.
16.
You can see in the dust on the floor, you can see her bare footprints and where they had been like running around, and you see that they came to a stop right in front of the mirror.
Just picking things apart. She's not in the image anymore, in the reflection, because she's gotten out of that. But how can I get her back into the... Can I pick up the painting maybe off of the... Okay, let me put the mirror back.
So facing that painting again?
Yeah.
The woman is now back in the painting. But now...
Dumb luck.
Since she's moving around in the painting, like you can look at the painting and see her moving around, and she looks not angry, but she's kind of sad that she's in there. And then she's kind of like waving a hand, kind of like motioning at you.
I mean, I'll look up at the painting, see if I can get any kind of direction.
Her mouth opens, and though you can hear her voice, it doesn't necessarily sound like it's coming from the painting, but I mean, it sounds like a voice that would belong to her. But it seems to be kind of emanating throughout the entire attic that you're in. And she says,
"What is your deepest fear?"
Being alone.
Is this Jack speaking
Yeah.
or Joseph speaking?
Both. This is just reminding me of the suit burns better. Look. Better look. Burns his suit. Do you remember that reference?
no.
Oh my God.
What was that?
That's The Simpsons after Mr. Burns gets shot and Chief Wiggum is having a dream where Dream Lisa is trying to lay out to him that he needs to look at Mr. Burns' suit, but she's doing it very cryptically, like I was saying, like the suit burns better, and she's holding up like a flaming playing card, and he just like, I don't follow. And it's like, the suit burns better. Look, burns his suit. And he's like, I don't get it. And she just throws everything down. She's like, look at Burns' suit. And tells him very directly. That's it. Somebody will get that reference and they will laugh.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Party in Peril. If you liked this episode, please share it with your friends or digifriends on social media and use the hashtag NerdSloth so we can thank you for your support. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, give us a rating, all those things that can help out the show. It's like rolling a nat 20 every time. See you next episode.
Presented by NerdSloth.
A place for lazy nerds.
If you like what you heard, consider donating at patreon.com/nerdsloth so we can continue bringing you quality shows. Be sure to also leave us a review and share your favorite episodes and clips on social media. If you're looking for more content, catch us on YouTube and Twitch or visit us at nerdsloth.com.